Greetings, everyone! Here is this cone-shaped object, which has been filled with concrete to make it very heavy, so it can be used to demonstrate the experiment effectively. This weighs approximately 4 kilograms. In one of my hands, I have a spring-based measuring device. When I pull it, you can see the force I exert to pull the cone-shaped object up to the center point. Similarly, here is another spring-based measuring device exactly like the first one. Both are equally strong because the springs inside them have the same strength. The spring at the bottom is there to demonstrate the force exerted by this cone-shaped object on the lower spring after I pull it to the center point with the upper spring and let it naturally tip over to the opposite side. So now, let's focus on the spring. Here, you can also see the scale markings. So, as you can see, I'm pulling the cone with the spring, and you can observe how much the spring stretches. It's about almost 1 centimeter. And now let's observe, after I pull the weight to the center, and as soon as it flips over, it visibly tightens the lower spring much more than I tightened the upper spring by pulling. Here is the point where the spring is not yet stretched. But as soon as the weight stretches the spring on its own, it's clear that it stretches much more than the upper spring. I'll show it once more. You can clearly see the difference in the stretching of the two springs. What does this mean? It means that I put in much less effort to pull this object up to the center here than the force I get when the object tips to the other side under its own weight and pulls the lower spring as a result. This is actually nothing more than the law of gravity. We are taking advantage of it in this case. The same thing happens when I'm not pulling, but pushing this cup-shaped object. Now let's observe how much the upper and lower springs compress. So, it's clear that even when using compression springs, there is a significant difference in the compression of the two springs. Now, let's see how we can use this physical law in practice to extract more energy from the system than we put into it. So, here's the mechanism I've created to demonstrate a possible version that could generate electricity for free. There could be other forms and solutions to experiment with. This is just one version. As you can see, I'm using two weights here. The ideal would be if they were cup-shaped, as they would be more efficient. However, this is the best I could make, in this truncated cone shape, given the available tools and resources. The reason there are two weights is so that, by working together and complementing each other, they can rotate the two pedals, which, through the sprockets and chain, drive the generator. The three-phase output from the generator is rectified, and at the end, there is a 12-volt fan. All of this is for demonstration purposes only. Now, let's see how the machine works. In the video, it's clear, so there's no need for commentary. These two truncated cone-shaped containers are currently empty. My plan was to fill them with gravel, as that would truly demonstrate the viability of the method. Unfortunately, I see that the structure won't be able to handle it if I fill the containers with gravel. It will likely bend or even tip over. Therefore, this video is just for demonstration purposes. However, I created it so that someone with more tools and experience in this area could build a more stable, precise version of this setup, one that can handle the heavy weight. The key idea is that the drive motor should consume less energy than what we get from the generator. We would use part of the electricity generated to power the motor, and the rest would be free electricity. This video is a shortened, English version of the original 45-minute video. I didn't want it to be too long, so I edited it down. I hope more people will get involved in this project, and that as many people as possible will be able to build a functional version of this system. It can also be implemented in other forms if someone has a better idea. If every household had such a machine, it could generate electricity anytime, regardless of the weather. Thank you very much for your attention. Feel free to share the video, and if anyone builds it, please share their video with me as well. Have a nice day, everyone.